Welcome back, everyone. In our last video with Lydia Hu, Miss Sinergy 2012, she dishes on the secrets to her win, gives us the 411 on her evening gown, and you'll never believe how she perfected her pageant strut. We are back with Lydia Hu, and right now we're going to talk about all the details, everything that you did to get ready for Miss Sinergy. So can we first talk about your gown? Tell us about how you picked it and where you found it.
Well, I'm about to disclose a big secret, everyone.
Exclusive?
Yes, exclusive. You heard it here first. I bought my gown off of Facebook from a friend that was selling used gowns, and I can't recommend that process enough. I love my gown. It's a McDougall, beautiful champagne color. I suggest you go to the Miss Sinergy website to check it out. But it was a really great find. I knew that once it was a size 4 that I could get it altered down to fit my body. So I spent some money on the alterations because I saved so much on the purchase price of the gown. And I just think I felt beautiful in it. I kind of knew what I was looking for. I spend a lot of time shopping, as I think many young women do. And I think it's always a good habit just to go into department stores and to just try on dresses to get a feel for what colors look good on you, what shapes and styles, and that way when you're shopping online and you see a gown on Facebook, you can identify it right away as a gown that's going to work for you.
God, I was just going to say that's such a good tip.
Yeah, and if I can offer one piece of advice, this is a small little pet peeve of mine when I see gowns that have been altered. If you're having a gown altered, make sure your gown always hits the floor.
Oh my gosh.
Must hit the floor. Cover your shoes. You will not trip, I promise, but tell your tailor, because I had this little battle with my tailor this past time. You do not want anybody to see your shoes. Your shoes are probably very beautiful, but let the gown hit the floor.
That is so true. And I don't know, people will look at our Evening Gown 101 course, and Allie has this horror story about how, when she got her gown altered for Mrs. Arizona, she didn't wear the shoes that she was going to be competing in on stage, so they were about 2 inches above her shoes, and she, obviously regrets that decision.
It's hard to reverse.
It is. You can't reverse it.
Right.
You can't at all. And so, she's got the pictures to prove it, so.
Yep.
And, you talked about color, and you obviously know what colors look best on you because the gown that you wore at Sinergy is very similar to the one that you wore at Miss Maryland USA.
Yep, it's a champagne color, and I just feel very comfortable in it. I think one of the key things is when you're wearing colors, even if you're just out at work or with friends, take note of when you get a compliment about a shirt that you're wearing and just note the color, because that's a good way of keeping a mental note about what gowns you should be looking for. And above all, it should be something that works for you, that you feel beautiful and confident in.
Yeah, well, for future reference, blue looks amazing on you, so,
oh, thanks.
Same
for you, Nicole.
Oh, thank you. This is actually Prita's dress, so I'm just going to shout out to Prita for letting me borrow her dress today. But so, we're talking also about swimsuit. I was a little confused because I didn't think that there was swimsuit competition at Miss Sinergy.
Yeah, well, there is.
Got it.
Yep, there is a swimsuit competition, and this year the requirements were that it just be a black 2-piece bathing suit, so I just went out and purchased one because surprisingly in my swimsuit wardrobe I didn't have a black 2-piece swimsuit, so I had to go to a specialty store to buy one in the winter, but it worked out. Was
it more expensive to get one at a specialty store, as say, versus, online at Victoria's Secret or, any other pageant store?
This one, I think this one was kind of like a run-of-the-mill swimsuit, so it wasn't too expensive. You can definitely spend a lot of money on a swimsuit if you'd like to and have it altered, but I just went out to a department store and picked one that I felt comfortable in, and it was fine. I mean, you probably get really inexpensive ones on Venus.com or Victoria's Secret, but I always like to try my swimsuits on beforehand because it's such an important part of the competition, and you want to make sure that you feel very comfortable and confident in your swimsuit.
Definitely. And so can you tell us a little bit about the shoes that you wore in swimsuit? There's a lot of nude shoes out there. There's a lot of clear shoes out there. I'm not sure what your thoughts are on the clear shoes.
I actually like the clear shoes.
Thank you. Me too.
Yes, I do. I think because they're so versatile, and I've actually had them now for a number of years, and I bought them on eBay for like $20, and you can't beat that.
You can't.
You cannot beat that. And so I knew that they're the shoe for me because I've worn them, practiced in them. I'm not going to fall in them. It's like, you wear what works, and so I wasn't going to change that for the competition.
That's a great tip. And so can you tell us about, how high are your shoes? Mine are like 4 inches. Some people go higher than that. I'm not sure what your comfort level is.
I have worn 5 to 6 inch shoes, like very tall. And I think the clear ones that I wore in Miss Sinergy were 5 inches.
That's impressive. So, what is the draw to like a nude shoe and a clear shoe, do you think?
Well, I think for a clear shoe, it doesn't distract from the overall look. You know, when I'm wearing an evening gown or a swimsuit, I want people to look at me and my face and not my footwear. But nude shoes can have the same effect. I think a good nude shoe can lengthen your leg and make you appear taller and leaner and longer, and that's always a good thing. You know, I think no matter what you pick, you should pick something that's comfortable, that has skid-resistant adhesives on the bottom would be a good thing, but just make sure that you feel comfortable in them.
I agree. All right, so speaking of 5-inch heels, how did you practice walking?
Well, I definitely practiced around the house. I also had purchased a couple of really large mirrors so I could watch myself walking from one side of the room to the other, because that's very important. I also watched the DVD from Miss Maryland 2009 and tried to mimic the walks of some of the amazing contestants from that year, including Courtney Hale, one of your
Professor's own.
Yes, she was amazing, and I was so taken with her ability to sashay across the stage. She carried herself with such poise and elegance, and I really thought that she was a great example of what a pageant contestant should look like. So I studied Courtney's walk.
Well, I'm sure she would be thrilled to hear that. All right, so let's talk, makeup. You're not a professional makeup artist. You're a lawyer. How did you, learn how to do your own makeup?
Well, I always look to the celebrities for guidance, and I always try to find celebrities that have my similar skin tone and hair color and eye color so I can mimic the types of shades that they're wearing. And when I found pictures of some of the celebrities that I thought share the same color palette that I have, I took it to a MAC makeup artist at the MAC counter in the Columbia Mall and sat down with her and said, I'm doing a pageant, and I explained exactly what I needed. And she was great because she had a background in stage makeup and she understood exactly what I needed, and she put together some great looks and combinations and taught me how to apply it. And when you're at the pageants, they often have the option to have your makeup applied for you by professionals, or you can apply it yourself. I personally think that it's always better to apply the makeup yourself. You know what looks best on you, you know what type of look you're going for, and I think it's a really important time to make sure that you're feeling 100% yourself. So I say apply the makeup yourself.
Great. I mean, that's a great point. Stage makeup is very different than, what we're wearing every day.
Yes.
And so lastly, the interview competition, typically at pageants, that's something that's held, the day before or maybe earlier that day with a panel of judges. But at Sinergy, the interview actually happens on stage. Is that correct?
That's right. That's right. I think for the Miss Sinergy title, the Sinergy organization puts a lot of emphasis on the contestants' ability to communicate publicly, because you're going to be advocating for such critical and important causes. So they have all the interview questions on stage, which is kind of nerve-wracking because you're doing a lot more public speaking than the normal pageant. But I think it really produces a good result. I think it was a great experience.
We already know that you're very well spoken, but how did you prepare for the interview?
Preparing for interview can be difficult, but I think it's really important to spend a lot of time practicing the questions that are going to come up. I think it's a good time to watch other pageants that are taking place on television. Like, for example, we just had the Miss World pageant, and I definitely tuned in and listened to the questions. You can also watch Miss USA or Miss Universe and listen to the questions and practice your answers to those as well. My mother, who is such a big supporter, did me a huge favor when I was participating in the Miss USA organization. And we acquired a book of about 500 practice pageant questions, and she took the time to record each question into a digital recorder. And when I was driving in my car, I would play the questions to myself, pause it, and answer. So that's the way I would multitask, by driving myself around and then answering the questions in the car when I was by myself.
Oh my gosh. I mean, you're in the car for 20, 30 minutes. I mean, what else are you going to do, right?
Right. I mean, it was really perfect, and I felt very comfortable. I felt after I had completed all the questions, there was not a question that someone couldn't ask me that I was not prepared for.
Yeah, and what a great pageant mom.
Yes, she's amazing. Thanks, Mom.
So speaking of pageant moms and, people that support you, how does your boyfriend feel about, the experience, and is he a great pageant boyfriend?
Yeah, Craig is amazing. He's very into it, and I won't disclose how into the pageant community he is, because he might get a little embarrassed, but he is incredibly supportive. He always comes to my events, and he's a big cheerleader, and I really appreciate that. So thanks, Craig.
Aw, little shout out to the boyfriend. I love it. And just one thing, we've talked a lot to you today. Is there one thing that you learned during the competition or just competing in pageants that you don't think that you would have, learned on your own?
It was a really great opportunity to learn about myself, and I'd always considered myself to be a hard worker and really invested in what I was doing, but after competing in pageants, I really learned to trust in myself and to have the confidence to pursue my dreams. You know, pageantry, it's not just about sparkly gowns and tiaras, although that's fun. It really is about the person and showcasing the person that you are, and that you should be proud of yourself and your experiences. And I learned that I can really do that.
That's great. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us here at Pageant Professors. We loved having you.
Thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun.
Did you know that there are some really common mistakes that girls make during the evening gown portion of their competition? Click on the link in the description below and you'll be taken to our website for a free 30-minute long training course. By the end of it, you'll learn how to avoid these common mistakes and master the evening gown portion of your competition today.